Blue Coal presents The Shadow, the mystery man who strikes terror in the very hearts of shopsters, lawbreakers, and criminals. Today, The League of Terror. Ladies and gentlemen, The Shadow's exciting adventure starts in just a moment. But first, I'd like to ask you homeowners a question. Do you want to cut down winter colds, protect your family's health during this dangerous winter season? Then burn Blue Coal for clean, safe, healthful heat all winter long. Blue Coal is Pennsylvania's finest anthracite, and its harmless blue coloring is your guarantee of better heat at less cost. So when it comes to fuel, insist on Blue Coal. Order it by name. Your nearest Blue Coal dealer will be glad to send you a trial ton. Phone him tomorrow.
With the court's permission, I'll rephrase that question. Mr. Sullivan, do you know how these counterfeit $1 and $5 bills came to be in the cash register of your grocery store?
I got them from customers, I guess.
Michael Sullivan, you're a witness in a federal trial, under oath to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. You know you can be sent to prison for perjury?
Yes, I know it well enough.
Before this trial began, you testified that the defendants in this case, Slater and Marino, entered your store, that they forced you to buy counterfeit $5 and $10 bills to be passed out and changed to your unsuspecting customers. Why have you changed your testimony? Why?
I was mistaken, that's all.
You're lying, Michael Sullivan, lie.
Order in the court. Mr. Prosecutor.
Yes, Your Honor.
It is quite apparent that your witness has received a threat, either to himself or his family, if he testified against the defendants in this case. Since he will not repeat his sworn testimony against these defendants, I have no alternative but to dismiss the charges. Case dismissed.
I never heard this so unjust in all my life.
Order in the court.
Your Honor, I demand that Michael Sullivan be held on a charge of perjury.
Michael Sullivan, much as this court may sympathize with your reasons and motives for shielding these criminals who prey upon an unsuspecting public in the wholesale commerce of worthless counterfeit money, I have no alternative but to sentence you to 1 year in prison.
1 year in prison. But, Your Honor, there's my wife and my daughter, Mary. I'm afraid of what the dirty rats would do to them if I told the truth.
I'm sorry, Michael Sullivan, but unless you testify...
I can't. I tell you, I can't.
Very well. The sentence of 1 year in prison must stand. Court's adjourned.
It ain't fair. It ain't right. I get a year in prison for trying to protect my family, and the real crooks go free. Look at them walking out of court free as the air to go on with their dirty business.
Yes, a good thing for his daughter Mary that Sullivan took my warning. Come on, let's get out of here.
Okay, boss.
Lamont, of all the unfair, unjust sentences...
I know, Margot. It seems cruel, harsh, but our whole legal system is being undermined by violence and intimidation of witnesses.
Isn't there something you could do, Lamont, some way of helping Michael Sullivan?
Sullivan isn't the only one who is suffering from the operation of this counterfeit ring. Small businessmen, shopkeepers, poor people who can't afford to get bad money.
A counterfeit dollar bill probably means the difference between eating and not eating to a lot of those people over in Sullivan's district.
Exactly, Margot. This is operating among the poor people who can't defend themselves.
Lamont, are you going to enter the case as the shadow?
Well, later perhaps. Right now, Margot, Lamont Cranston and Margot Lane can help by doing a little shopping in Michael Sullivan's grocery store.
Giovanni?
Good evening, Miss Sullivan.
How's little Maria?
Oh, she's sick. All the time she cries.
Oh, what's the matter?
I don't know. The doctor, he says she don't get enough to eat. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Oh, lady, cannot be helped, Miss Sullivan. Oh, I'm mighty sorry they send your papa to jail because he won't talk none.
Father would have talked. He ain't afraid. Not for himself. He was afraid of what they do to Mother and me.
How is your mother?
She's not so well. She's been sick all along, and now with Father in prison. She can't understand it. I'm afraid for her. She's so sick.
None of us don't understand. We're all afraid.
Well, I'm not. I've got Father's gun here under the counter. And if any of that counterfeit gang comes around here again, I won't depend on the law to protect me.
Oh, no, Miss Sullivan. You can't fight them. They're too many.
Well, there'll be a couple less if they bother us again.
Hush, Maria. Oh, hush, bambino mio.
Baby.
No. Miss Sullivan, you have so much trouble. I don't like to bother you, but...
What is it, Mrs. Giovanni?
But the landlord, he say that $5 bill that Mr. Sullivan gave me, it's no good. He say I got to pay the rent and good money or get out. Look, he give it back to me.
Another counterfeit bill, huh? I'm sorry, Mrs. Giovanni. Give it to me. Here. Here's a good bill. At least I think it is. The counterfeit bills are so good you can hardly tell they're fakes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, mister.
Here we are, Margot.
I'll be with you in just a moment.
Well, thank you.
If you hear of anyone else who has any of these bad bills Father had to give out, let me know, Mrs. Giovanni. I'll make 'em good if it takes every cent we got.
Oh, bless you, miss. Well, goodbye. You be mighty careful, Miss Sullivan.
I will, Mrs. Giovanni. Good night. Good evening. What do you want?
I think a couple of cans of corn and string beans.
And a loaf of bread. Yes, and some butter.
You're strangers in this neighborhood?
Yes, and get some peaches.
Yes, 2 large cans of peaches.
Strangers don't come way over here in this section to buy groceries. Who are you and what do you really want?
Miss Sullivan, put away that gun. You're a courageous but a rather foolish young woman.
Well, maybe so. But I got only myself to think of. I'm not like Dad, afraid because he had a family.
Please, Miss Sullivan, we're not members of the counterfeit ring that's been terrorizing your father.
How do I know that?
If we were members of that ring, Miss Sullivan, you would have been shot long before you could get that gun. It's very obvious.
Well, what do you want?
For appearance's sake, in case this store is being watched, you'd better give us the groceries we ordered.
All right. What was it now?
Corn, string beans, and peaches.
Here's the corn. Who are you? Newspaper reporters or the police?
Would you like to save your father from that year in prison?
Yes, anything. It's killing my mother,
Lamont,
but...
there's a man watching the store across the street in a doorway.
I expected as much.
Who are you? How can you save my
Get the
father?
groceries.
Yes, sir.
Now the other things. Keep moving. But listen to me.
Yes, sir.
You're a brave girl, Miss Sullivan, but your life won't be worth one of those counterfeit bills unless you use your head.
What do you mean?
Do you know enough about this counterfeit ring, how they operate, who they are, to make them fear you will talk?
I know how they operate, but Slater and Marino are the only ones who ever came here.
Slater and Marino will be out of the picture for the present. Don't stand there. Get me things, anything at all. Make a package.
My father never saw anyone else either. None of the big shots. I'll put this stuff in a paper bag.
There are 2 men in that doorway across the street now, Lamont.
Let me know if they start this way. Now, Miss Sullivan, I can't tell you who I am or exactly why I'm here, except that I was in court today. I want to help you. I can if you're willing to take a great risk to help your father.
I'll do anything for Dad. If I don't get him out, I'm afraid my mother'll die. If I only knew who's behind Slater and Marino, who's their boss.
You can find out. But you know what happens to those who know too much.
I'll take that risk. How can I find out who they are?
By pretending to know more than you do.
I don't understand.
Those men across the street will undoubtedly come in here in the minute we leave. They'll question you. Pretend you know how they operate.
Yes?
That you want to be paid to keep quiet. The chances are they'll take you to a higher up. Maybe not the ringleader, but someone who knows the real leader.
But, Lamont, they'll kill her.
Not until they find out how much she knows and who else shares that knowledge.
Anyhow, I don't care.
It's only fair to warn you. You're taking a desperate chance.
What have I got to lose? They'll probably try to put me out of the way anyhow. The whole neighborhood knows how I feel about them. I've said I'd kill them for what they've done to my father if I ever found out who they were.
Those men are starting this way.
You've got to go, Miss Sullivan. You better think over what I've said before you act.
Oh, no, I'll do it. My mind's made up.
Come on, Margot.
Lamont, aren't you letting that poor girl take a terrible risk?
Margot, that girl was marked for death before we came here.
What are we going to do? Look, Lamont, those men, they're going in the store.
Margot, get a taxi and get out of this district. Be sure you're not followed. Go to my office and keep the shortwave radio tuned in on the band I always use.
All right, Lamont. But won't you tell me what you're going to do?
There's no time, Margot. I've got to see where they take her. From now on, the fate of Mary Sullivan is in the hands of the shadow.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Shadow will be back with you in just a moment. In the meantime, I'd like to tell you some interesting facts. In the Dominion of Canada, where there is a temperature range of almost 200 degrees, from warm summer days to frigid Arctic nights, the selection of fuel is a serious problem. And the tremendous popularity of blue coal in Canada under these varying conditions is positive proof that blue coal gives steadier, healthier, more dependable heat than you can get with any other fuel. You homeowners here in the United States should be just as critical in the selection of your fuel. And when you choose blue coal, you'll find you're getting better heat at less cost. For blue coal is a selected Pennsylvania anthracite, the fuel that burns longer, more economically, down to a fine powdery ash. What's more, anthracite is the fuel that furnaces, parlor stoves, and cooking ranges in this part of the country were especially designed to burn. And the finest anthracite in America is blue coal. It's mined by the famous Glen Alden Coal Company, and every carload is tested and retested for purity and uniform size before shipment. Blue coal is especially prepared for home use. It comes in all the popular domestic sizes: egg, stove, chestnut, and pea size. So solve your problem of home fuel selection by placing your order for blue coal tomorrow. Ask for it by name. Phone your nearest blue coal dealer the first thing in the morning. You'll find him listed in the Where to Buy It section of your classified telephone directory under the name Blue Coal.
Where are you taking me?
Shut up. Get in, kid. Sit down and keep quiet.
Oh!
Come on, get up, sister. Here, I'll take the blindfold off your eyes.
Why'd you bring me down to the waterfront?
I do as I'm told. You better learn the same thing.
Where are you taking me?
Maybe this is the end of the line for you, Mary Sullivan.
You wouldn't.
Wouldn't we, though?
But not without orders from the big boss.
What do you know about the big boss?
Plenty.
Then your number is up, all right, kid. Them that know plenty about the big boss don't live long.
You're still alive?
Yeah, sure. 'Cause I don't even know who the big boss is, and I don't want to know. It ain't healthy.
Trigger.
Who's that?
It's me, Rankin. You got the Sullivan dame?
Yeah. Here she is.
Yeah, so I see. She's a nice looker.
Listen, Rankin, she says she knows plenty about the big boss.
I'll say I do.
You're a liar, Mary Sullivan. But you do know too much about the rest of us.
You better get in touch with the big boss before you do anything to me.
We don't bother him with all the details of this counterfeit racket.
Well, you better bother him about this.
Hey, you know, Rankin, I think she knows something.
Shut up, Trigger. I'll do the thinking around here. But maybe she does at that.
I know plenty. And I'm not the only one.
Say, what happened to that fella and dame that was in the Sullivan grocery just before we snatched her?
The guy got clean away somehow.
Yeah, what about the dame?
Yeah, she took a cab. Smitty trailed her, but she gave him the slip. Switched cabs in traffic somewhere.
Maybe you better take this kid to the big boss.
Not till I find out how much she knows. Come on, Trick, make her talk. You know how.
All right, kid. Do you spill what you know, or do we have to get it out of you the hard way?
Let go of my arm. I won't talk to anybody but the big boss. And he'll pay me plenty to keep quiet. You can't scare me like you did my father.
She wants dough to keep quiet.
Shut up, Trigger. Twist her arm. Give her a sample of what's coming to her if she don't talk, and talk fast.
All right, kid.
You asked for it.
No, I won't.
Yeah, you dope. She's fainted.
I guess I twisted her arm too hard. Hey, Rankin, did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it. What was it?
It's a trap. The cops must have followed us here.
Come on, let's take it on the lam. No, wait, we can't leave that dame here.
You take the Sullivan kid, I'll shoot out the light.
Don't draw your gun, Trigger. Don't move, Rankin.
He knows who we are.
Trick, there's something screwy about this. That voice, it's right here, but there ain't nobody with it.
You're mistaken, Rankin. There is someone here.
What kind of gag is this, Rankin? I don't see nothing, but say I'm getting out of here.
Wait, Trigger. Trigger. Do you remember Lefty Sims?
Sure, the best finger man in the East, but...
He tried to shoot it out with a voice. The police got him. But when he went to the chair, there was only one name on his lips. Remember?
The Shadow, Rankin. That's what it is. It ain't the police or the feds. It's the guy nobody's ever seen. The Shadow. They say he throws a sort of spell over a guy's mind so you can't see him.
Shut up, you're crazy.
Yeah.
It's just somebody throwing his voice. I've seen him do it in vaudeville. Come on, you pop that light and let's break for it.
Wait. I'm not going to stop you. But before you go, take this message to your leader.
You better listen to him, Rankin. You can't outsmart that guy. Nobody ever has, not for long.
Tell the man who controls this counterfeit ring that preys on the poor and helpless. Tell him that if anything should happen to Mary Sullivan, he will answer to the Shadow.
Drake, he's right in front of us somewhere. Take a couple of pot shots, maybe you can get him.
No, not me. Can't you see the Shadow set to shake down the big boss?
If you won't shoot, I will. I'll get him even if I can't see him.
A gun won't help you, Rankin.
Oh, no? We'll see about that.
Yeah, you got him. Talk about luck.
Yeah. Well, let's get going while our luck's still good. I don't know if I killed him or not, but I must have winged him. Come on, grab that Sullivan dame and let's get back to the big boss and tell him what's happened.
Yeah, how? Where are we going?
I got a speedboat waiting under the wharf. Come on, we're heading down the bay.
Hey, look. What do you think the big boss will say about bringing the Sullivan dame to his hideout?
Yeah, I hate to think about it. If I'll steer the boat, you watch that Sullivan dame. She ought to be coming too by now.
Yeah, she's coming out of it. Hey, how much farther we gotta go?
Yeah, we're practically there. You see that yacht laying at anchor out there?
Holy cat. You mean that's the big boss hideout?
Yeah, Trig. You're finding out something you're liable to wish you never heard about, much less seen.
Yeah. You mean that's the plant, huh? That's where all the phony dough's been coming from.
You catch on quick, don't you? Yeah. That's the layout the feds and cops have been looking for months. Classy, ain't she? All right, here we are. Get that Sullivan dame on her feet.
Yeah, okay. But how about me staying in the speedboat?
Nothing doing. You're coming aboard and tell the big boss what you know about this Shadow.
Nobody knows much about it.
You better spill what you do know and spill it fast, Trig. The big boss is the head of this racket because he can think faster than you can shoot. He gets in the idea you're in on the shakedown, you're as good as dead.
I ain't pulling no double cross. I swear I ain't right.
Shut up and bring that dame aboard. Boss knows how to handle her kind. And watch your step or you'll get what's coming to her.
Okay. Come on, sister, come on. Before the night's over, I got a hunch you and me are gonna wish we'd never seen this ritzy cub.
Margot Lane. Listen carefully. Act quickly. The life of the Sullivan girl depends upon it. Telephone Police Commissioner Weston. Have him notify the harbor patrol boats that they will find the leader of the counterfeit ring on board the large yacht anchored off Diamond Point. Hurry.
Okay, there you are, Rankin.
Listen, boss.
No, you listen to me. I've warned you never to come to this yacht without orders.
But, boss, I had to.
What's the idea of bringing Trigger and that Sullivan girl here? You know what happens to those who break the rules of my organization?
I couldn't help it, boss. This is important. She ain't seen anything. I locked her in one of the cabins.
I decide what's important. Why didn't you report first?
There wasn't time. I was going to report, but then this Shadow started talking to us in the warehouse.
The Shadow?
Yeah. You tell him, Trigger.
Never mind. I've heard all about the Shadow. So he's on the trail, eh?
Yeah, it's a shakedown, boss.
Shut up and listen to me. If the Shadow's behind this, it's no shakedown.
What is his racket?
Putting organizations like mine out of business. Putting fools like you and Trigger in the electric chair.
Yeah? Well, he won't, because I got him back in the warehouse.
You what?
Yeah, boss. Rankin took a couple of wild shots at where the Shadow's voice was coming from, and we heard him fall.
How do you know that fall wasn't a trick? How do you know he didn't follow you here?
No boat trailed us.
No, I suppose it didn't occur to you that he might have been hiding in the speedboat with you? Where's that Sullivan girl? Bring her in here.
I'll get her, boss. She's locked in the next cabin.
Rankin, you're a fool. You let Trigger and the Sullivan girl in on something they're not likely to forget. And you know what to do. Take care of them.
You mean fix them so they won't talk? Permanent?
Do you know of any other way?
Yeah, but listen, boss, the Shadow said if anything happened to Mary Sullivan, you'd answer to him.
You leave the Shadow to me. The Shadow?
He ain't dead. I didn't kill him.
That is a reasonable assumption, Rankin.
Boss, he's here in this cabin.
I see my presence is accepted without question. Even though you can't see me.
Rankin, shoot, you fool, shoot.
Yes. Try again, Rankin.
All right, Shadow. Maybe I won't miss this time.
Hey, Rankin, what's up?
Rankin. Try again.
The door. He's getting out. Fast, Trigger. Shoot, Rankin, shoot.
Get out of the way, Trigger.
Oh. Rankin, you rat. You double-crossed rat. Fill me full of lead, will you? Rub me out because I seen too much, will you?
Don't, Trig. Put down that gat. I wasn't shooting at you. It was the Shadow. He was here just a minute ago.
I don't care about the Shadow. All I know is I got a load of lead in me. Your lead, and I'm gonna...
Don't shoot. Don't try.
Too bad, Rankin. Too bad. Couldn't have polished me off like I did him. Quick and easy.
Trigger.
Shadow.
Trigger. That man there, the big boss, ordered Rankin to kill you. Trigger, he is your real enemy.
Yeah. I had a notion he might try it.
Don't raise that gun, Trigger.
I know that one. If I do, you'll kill me. You can't kill a guy with as much lead in him as I'm carrying. You can't kill a guy that's already dead.
Perhaps not, but I can't avoid the risk that you have strength enough left to raise that gun.
Well, you're a better shot than Rankin. Big shot. Better shot, big shot. Not bad. Not a bad gag.
And now, we are alone.
Yes, quite alone. And now, I'm going to deal with you, Shadow.
Your hand is shaking. Is that the way for a mastermind to act?
You devil. If I could only see you. But you won't get away.
And neither will you. I've notified the police. Their boats are coming. Listen.
Oh, so that's it, eh?
Yes, that's it. They're coming to get the leader of a counterfeit ring. But they will find a murderer, a cold-blooded killer, locked in this cabin with his victims.
That's what you think, but you're mistaken.
Why are you putting down your gun? Are you giving up so easily?
Listen, Shadow, I've heard a lot about you. You're clever. Well, I'm clever, too. Clever enough to know when the game is up. I've anticipated just such an eventuality. I suppose you can see this little switch on my desk? My hand's resting on it.
Yes, I see it.
You know what will happen if I close this switch? And I will if the police set foot on this yacht.
I think I can guess.
Well, I'll tell you. This switch will set off a charge of high explosive down in the hold that will blow you and me and the police to kingdom come.
I see.
If you touch me, try to stop me, I'll throw the switch.
What do you expect me to do?
You call the police and you can send them away.
What makes you think I will?
If you don't get rid of them, I'll throw this switch. What have I got to lose? Well, there they are. What about it? Think fast. Will you send them away? So you think I'm bluffing, eh, Shadow?
No, you're not bluffing. I have no doubt there is high explosive in the hold of this ship. But I wonder if you have nerve enough to throw that switch. I wonder.
All right, Shadow, you had your chance and you wouldn't take it. Now I'll show you. I'll throw the switch. Wait, it didn't work. It didn't explode.
No, it didn't explode. The switch doesn't work because I've cut the wires. See where they run along the wall.
You devil. I'll get you. They may get me now, but I'll get you. You'll never take me alive.
Get him out of here. Go on, get him out.
I guess it's the man we're after, Commissioner. All right, you, come on, get going.
Yes, Commissioner Weston, that is your man. That is the leader of the counterfeit ring you've hunted so long.
You win, Shadow.
The Shadow. I might have known. I had a hunch it was you again when the mysterious call came through.
Commissioner Weston, there's a girl in the next cabin. She says she isn't a member of the gang.
She is Mary Sullivan, daughter of Michael Sullivan, convicted of perjury in the counterfeit trial.
Sullivan's daughter?
Yes. She risked her life to find these men. Reward her by getting her father out of prison.
He'll be freed in the morning. You have my word on that. It looks like you're due a reward for this night's work, Shadow.
My reward, like yours, Commissioner, is in protecting the defenseless from those who have not learned that crime does not pay.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we tell you of the Shadow's next exciting adventure, here's John Barclay, Blue Coal's heating expert. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Barclay.
Thank you, Ken Roberts. Good evening, friends. If you want to get better, more efficient results from your home heating plant at no extra cost, do this. Phone your nearest Blue Coal dealer and ask him to send one of my trained servicemen to your home. Each John Barclay serviceman is a heating expert. He knows every kind of heating apparatus, inside out. For instance, here's the experience of a woman in Revere, Massachusetts. She writes in part, I'm obliged to heat 14 rooms, and I always had trouble with 4 radiators. Try as I would, I could not seem to heat the 4 rooms in which those radiators were stationed until one of your John Barclay servicemen inspected the entire basement of my home, including the pipes and boiler. Also, those radiators which had given me so much trouble. The serviceman made some recommendations that I followed, and from that time on, I have never had any trouble whatsoever. My heating difficulties are over. I'm so pleased that I feel it my duty to write this to you so that other persons may avail themselves of this most advantageous service. And friends, that's only one of many letters I've received. Why not avail yourself of this free service? Remember, you don't even have to be a customer to profit by it. Simply phone your nearest Blue Coal dealer. He'll be only too glad to send a John Barclay serviceman to look over your heating plant. And when that serviceman calls on you, ask him about the Blue Coal heat regulator. With that wonderful thermostat attached to your heating plant, you'll get more uniform, more economical heat than the most expensive oil burner will give you. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barclay. Friends, Mr. Barclay has just given you a valuable tip. So take his advice. Phone your nearest Blue Coal dealer the first thing in the morning. Have a John Barclay serviceman stop at your home tomorrow. The story you have just heard is one of the many copyrighted stories that appear in the Shadow magazine. The characters in this story are entirely fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The Shadow knows.
Next week, same time, same station, Blue Coal, America's finest anthracite, will present another thrilling adventure of the Shadow. Be sure to listen and be sure to burn Blue Coal, the solid fuel for solid comfort.
The Shadow knows.
Blue Coal presents The Shadow, the mystery man who strikes terror into the very hearts of shopsters, lawbreakers, and criminals. Today's story, Sabotage. Today's exciting adventure with The Shadow starts in just a moment. But first, I'd like to say a few words about health. Over 50% of all family colds can be traced to uneven heat or overheating in the home. So protect your family's health by burning Blue Coal, America's finest anthracite. Then you'll be sure of steady, lasting, healthful heat at less cost. The next time you order fuel, ask for Blue Coal by name. You don't have to get a full supply. Your nearest Blue Coal dealer will be glad to send you a trial ton. Phone him tomorrow.
Engine room.
Stand by for test number 11.
Engine room standing by, Commander.
Ship full speed ahead. What the? Engine room. Hello. Hello, engine room.
Chief Engineer Swain reporting. Boiler explosion, sir. 3 casualties, sir.
Good Lord, what happened, Commander? Boiler explosion, Lieutenant. Hard luck, sir. Luck nothing. You mean another case of sabotage? Yes, sabotage. Submarine L-21 calling submarine base. Submarine L-21 calling submarine base.
Submarine base answering L-21. Go ahead, L-21.
Submarine L-21 in distress. Submarine L-21 down off Diamond Head. Cannot rise. Emergency. Emergency. Pumps damaged. Looks like sabotage. Looks like sabotage. Cruiser returning to base. Cruiser returning to base. Explosion. Explosion in after gun turret. 3 dead. 6 wounded. Suspect sabotage. Suspect sabotage.
Lord. Hello. 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 Sentry post number 4 reporting. Explosion and fire. Explosion and fire and destroyer dry dock. Sag Island Shipyard. Sag Island Shipyard.
Sabotage ring strike Sag Island Shipyard. Read all about it. Mysterious explosion and fire wreck.
Hey, fellas, here's Admiral Teely now.
Well, what are the findings of the board, Admiral? Yeah, Admiral, what's the dope on this sabotage ring?
Gentlemen, the board has authorized me to make this statement to the press.
Let's have it, Admiral.
Yeah, let's have the lowdown, Admiral.
Our inquiry indicates that all ships affected by recent acts of sabotage have all been built, reconditioned, or repaired in the Sag Island yard.
Sag Island, eh?
Yes. And every resource at the command of the government is being directed toward the apprehension of those responsible for the systematic blows at the naval defense strength of the United States.
Lamont Cranston, would you mind telling me where you've been for the past 5 days? I was nearly frantic until I got your call asking me to meet you. And why those old clothes? And why haven't you shaved?
I'm sorry, Margot. I've been at Sag Island.
Sag Island? You mean where they're having all the trouble in the shipyard?
Yes, it seemed to be a case where the Shadow might be of some use to his country.
You've uncovered something. Is that why you sent for me, Lamont?
I'm not sure, but I stumbled on something last night. It's been a process of elimination.
Where are we going? Back to Sag Island?
Yes, we're almost there now.
Lamont, have you anything definite to work on? It seems so hopeless.
You forget, Margot, that I, as the Shadow, have a certain gift.
You mean what the underworld call the power of invisibility?
Yes, and the ability to read other men's minds, particularly the mind of a man who has something to hide.
But you've got to find that man first, Lamont.
I know.
Do you mean that out of the 3,000 men in the Sag Island shipyard, you found the one man who has eluded the Secret Service, the police, and everyone for weeks?
I think I have, Margot. I'll know for sure tonight.
What do you want me to do, Lamont? We're coming into Sag Island now.
I want you to go to the Sag Island Hotel, take a room, and set up the shortwave radio outfit. You brought it, didn't you?
Yes, it's in the baggage compartment.
Good. Now listen, Margot. Tune in the wave I use as the Shadow and wait. Wait all night if necessary. Stop the car here, Margot.
Yes. Lamont, I know you don't believe in woman's intuition. At least you pretend not to.
On the contrary, I have a healthy respect for intuition. Now be careful. I have a premonition myself.
Lamont, can't you tell me anything more?
I can only tell you I'm going into that bar down the street. If this man is the one I think he is, we will have a very interesting visit in that bar.
Hey, bartender, set him up again.
Yeah, one more round.
Nothing doing, boys. It's closing time.
All right. Come on, Jake.
Okay. Good night. Come on, Bill. Let's go.
Good night, boys. Good night.
Holy mackerel. 2 o'clock already.
An hour passes quickly when a man is talking about himself, Mr. Buckler.
What? What have I been talking about? What have I... Say, who the devil are you, anyway? If you're one of them Secret Service guys trying to pump me, you're barking up the wrong tree.
I'm not a Secret Service man.
And then what's your game?
What's yours?
You're not looking for a job. You're a phony. I've a good notion to turn you over to the cops. They're rounding up guys like you.
Sit down, Buckler. Listen to me, or you'll get us both in trouble.
Who sent you here? Who told you to look me up?
Would it help if I told you what you're thinking, Buckler?
Quit stalling. Who sent you?
It's running through your mind over and over again. I see it like a picture on a slate. You're thinking, did Arnheim send him? Did Arnheim send him?
You're a liar. I never mentioned Arnheim's name. Never heard of him.
Then why are you thinking of a name you never heard? Don't be a fool, Buckler. I know.
What do you know? What did he send you for? What's wrong? Why didn't he let...
Yes.
Nothing. Quit staring at me like that, or I...
You were going to say, why didn't Arnheim tell me himself? Suppose we go ask him.
No, he don't want anybody to know. If you're in on this, you ought to know that. Listen, you. I don't know how much you know or how much...
Hey, you two, it's past closing time. Come on, now, clear out. Tomorrow's another day.
My friend and I were just leaving.
Yeah? Well, you'll have to go out through the alley. I locked up the front door, and I ain't unlocking it again.
Come along, Buckler. We can finish our talk on the way.
On the way to where?
Come along, I'll show you.
All right. We can cut through the alley. We can talk on the way.
Yes, we can talk. After you, Buckler.
Okay, come on. Hey, come on, what's the idea? We're going down the dark alley, ain't we? Hey, you, cut the comedy and come on.
Your companion has left you, Mr. Buckler. He saw your hand slip into that pocket where you carry a blackjack. He saw the picture in your mind. And knowing you meant to crush his skull, he asked me to take his place.
What is this, a frame-up? Who was that guy? Who are you?
Steve Buckler, you're a traitor. You're selling your birthright, your honor, your country's safety for money you'll never live to collect.
How do you know all that? Who are you, anyway?
This is your first excursion in crime, isn't it, Buckler?
What difference does that make? Who are you? What do you want?
If you had any contact with the underworld, you wouldn't have to ask who I am. Have you ever heard of the Shadow, Steve Buckler?
The Shadow. So that's it. That's who you are. The man who can hide anywhere that no one has ever seen.
Yes, Buckler. The man no one has ever seen. Don't move. Shall I tell you what you're thinking? I see the picture inside your head. You're thinking you'd kill me if you could only see me.
You're like that other guy. You can't tell what I'm thinking. All right, you got me dead to rights. What do you want me to do?
Stop taking orders from Arnheim.
Is that all? You mean you're not going to turn me over to the Secret Service?
No. No, I'm going to give you one more chance, Steve Buckler. One last chance.
The Shadow's adventure will continue in just a moment. Meanwhile, thousands of homeowners are engaged in another kind of adventure. An adventure in home heating involving the health of your family. I am referring to the purchase of fuel. You know, if you order just any kind of coal, it's a gamble. But it's a gamble you don't have to take. Baltimore families, for example, have found out how to eliminate the risk in fuel buying. They order blue coal by name. That's why the sale of blue coal in Baltimore so far this winter is 40% ahead of sales for the same period a year ago. And this is happening in many other cities. Here is real proof that blue coal, the cream of Pennsylvania anthracite, is by actual test the best of all fuels. It is the only solid fuel actually trademarked with a harmless blue color, so that you can tell at a glance that it is the fuel that gives low-cost heating. It is the fuel to buy for cleanliness. Baltimore homeowners like the steady, long-burning qualities of blue coal. This is a decided advantage compared to other fuels requiring so much attention. The Glen Alden Coal Company prepared blue coal especially for home use in 4 home sizes: egg, stove, chestnut, or peat. So I urge all homeowners throughout this area to find out what thousands of Baltimore families have already learned about the greater comfort, convenience, and economy of blue coal. Order your trial ton of blue coal tomorrow. You will find the name of your nearest blue coal dealer in the Where to Buy It section of your classified telephone directory under the name of Blue Coal.
Margot Lane. Margot Lane. Stand by. Stand by. I have found our man. He is meeting someone. The shadow will be with them. Stand by.
Who's there? Who's there?
It's Rigo. Let me in, Butler.
Oh, okay. Where's Arnheim? Why didn't he come?
What makes you think he'd be fool enough to come here just because you sent word you're in trouble?
I've got to see him. I've got to talk to him, Rigo.
What's the matter with you? The Secret Service men been asking you questions again?
No, they don't suspect anything. But somebody else is after us. Somebody knows Arnheim is back of all this sabotage.
Well, who is it? Come on, Buckler, out with it.
Let go of me and I'll tell you. It's the Shadow.
The Shadow. Don't give me that.
It's the truth. That's why I phoned Arnheim. I got to have the money he promised me. I got to get away from here.
Listen, you fool. How did the Shadow get wise to you? How much does he know?
I'm not sure, Ivor.
How did he find out unless you told him?
I didn't tell him, but he can read your mind. Listen, you got to take me to Arnheim. I got to get away.
How did you get away from the Shadow?
He let me go. Said he was giving me one last chance.
You're lying, Buckler. People don't get away from the Shadow. He doesn't let them go unless they're working for him. Listen, if you're trying to pull a double cross on Arnheim, you'll never live to tell it.
I'm telling you the truth, Rigo. You got to believe me.
All right. Maybe you are. But it just happens we've got another job for you that'll prove whether you're on the level with Arnheim or not.
I can't do anything more. The Shadow knows I'm responsible for all those accidents. He'll find me. You can't hide from anybody like that.
He'll find you dead if you don't do as you're told. Besides, Buckler, you'd like to get that $50,000 Arnheim promised you, wouldn't you?
I've done more than he asked already. I've earned that $50,000 a dozen times over.
Maybe you have. But you don't get it unless you carry out Arnheim's orders. Well, this is the last. It'll be easy for you. And it won't take you long. I'll wait for you. Take you to Arnheim's place. He'll pay you off and you can be on your way. And what about it, Buckler?
What does he want this time?
It's that battle cruiser that's going out on a trial run in the morning.
It's too late to tamper with anything now, Rigo.
So what? You're turbine inspector. You're scheduled to go along. We know that.
But how? What can I do? It's too late, I tell you.
I'll show you what you're going to do. You see this metal tube?
Yeah. What do you want me to do with it?
You're going aboard the cruiser and plant that inside some piece of machinery. Some place where it'll get smashed when the engines start.
What's in that tube?
Oh, nothing much. Just enough nitroglycerin to tear the turbines out of that cruiser.
No, I won't do it. It'd kill every man in the engine room.
It won't be the first time, Buckler.
I couldn't carry that thing into the yard. They're searching everybody, Rigo.
Quit stalling, will you? We know they don't search inspectors. That's why you've been so useful.
All right. Suppose I can get it in the machinery. Get off the ship before she sails. How do I know Arnheim will keep his word? Pay me off and let me get away.
I didn't come here to bargain with you, Buckler. All I know is Arnheim told me to bring you back after you'd carried out his orders.
All right. I'll do it. But this is the last time. Give me that tube.
Now you're talking. But look out for that stuff. It's touchy. Well, come on. What are you waiting for?
You better go first.
Nothing doing. I'm making sure you get to the yard. That cruiser sails with the flood tide. And don't try anything because I'll be waiting for you in my car when you come out. Well, come on.
Margot Lane. Margot Lane. Drive to shipyard. Watch for black sedan parked in front of red brick building. Our man is Steve Buckler, ship inspector. I am following him into shipyard to prevent another accident. Margot, don't lose sight of that black sedan. It will lead us to the real heads of the sabotage ring.
Morning, Mr. Buckler.
Oh, morning, Lieutenant.
Giving the turbines a bit of final inspection before we start on the trial run?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I'd have a look around.
Go right ahead. I have to check the gauges. Let me know if you find anything that needs adjustment.
I'll let you know, Lieutenant. I'll show Arnheim. I'll show him I'm not afraid to go through with this. There, now. Just wait till those turbines start spinning. Till they smash that metal tube of nitroglycerin. Just wait.
Everything look all right, Mr. Buckler?
Yeah. Yeah, everything's fine. Just fine, Lieutenant. Goodbye.
Yes. Everything will be just fine. In just a moment. As soon as I've removed this tube of nitroglycerin that Buckler put in the turbine.
Margot, wait a minute.
Oh, Lamont, thank heavens you're here. There goes that black sedan.
It's Buckler and a man named Rigo. Follow them and don't get too close.
What happened in the shipyard?
Buckler tried to carry out another sabotage job for a man named Arnheim. He's the man we want.
Did you stop Buckler?
Yes, but he doesn't know it. Don't have an accident, Margot. We'll be scattered all over the landscape. Careful, Margot.
What do you mean?
Just that this metal tube I'm carrying contains enough nitroglycerin to blow us to Kingdom Come if it's jolted hard enough.
Where'd you get it, Lamont? From Buckler?
Yes, he left it in a gearbox of the battle cruiser.
Oh, so that's why you followed him into the
Slow
shipyard.
down, Margot. You're getting too close to that car. Yes. I had to stop that murderous scheme, even if it meant losing track of Buckler and Rigo.
But do you think they'll lead us to this man who seems to be behind all this? Arnheim?
I'm sure of it.
Look, Lamont. They're turning in that big estate.
Quick, Margot. Pull off the road and stop.
Yes. Lamont, look at the sign. Redland Sanitarium. This doesn't look like a place where Arnheim would have his headquarters.
That's probably why he selected it. Well, Margot, this is it.
Lamont, you're not going in there alone.
Yes, the Shadow is going to return this little metal instrument of death to Dr. Arnheim in person.
Doctor?
Yes, just look at that sign, Margot. Redland Sanitarium, Dr. Felix Arnheim, resident physician.
Oh, please don't go in there alone, Lamont. Let's notify the state police. We can. I have the radio transmitter in the car.
Good, and I want you to call the state police on the regular wavelength 5 minutes after I've gone in the house.
Well, why not call them now?
Margot, we're not dealing with amateurs. They're undoubtedly prepared against police raids. If the police blunder in there, they'll only find an empty house. I've got to go in there alone.
Don't take that nitroglycerin with you, Lamont.
Well, Margot, I must. This tube of concentrated death is an important part of my plan to hold those men in that house until the police break in.
Oh, don't, Lamont. You said you had a premonition, remember?
Don't, Margot, worry. Call the police, and in 5 minutes, which is in the lap of the gods.
And in the hands of the Shadow.
Well, Rigo?
Here he is, Dr. Arnheim.
Ah. So you have to come to tell me you're afraid, Mr. Buckler. You wish to go away. Far away.
Yes. Yes, I know when I've had enough. And I want that $50,000, and I want it quick.
So? Have you carried out my last instructions?
Yes, I have. And that's the finish. Pay me off and let me get away from here.
I'm afraid we must wait until we are sure of the success of your latest venture in sabotage, Mr. Buckler.
Listen, Arnheim. Finding that nitroglycerin on the cruiser will be traced to me an hour after the explosion. Every Secret Service agent in this country will be after me.
We will see that they do not find you.
I'll see to that myself. Listen. You'll give me that $50,000 and let me get out of here now, or I'll...
Oh, what? Keep him covered, Mr. Rigo.
Don't make a move, Buckler. I hate to shoot men in the bank.
What were you going to do if we don't pay you, Mr. Buckler?
Arnheim, I'm warning you. Tell Rigo not to shoot. Do you think I didn't know you'd try something like this? Do you think I'd come here without an ace up my sleeve?
Go on, Mr. Buckler.
Just this. This little bottle filled with some of the nitroglycerin you sent me to plant on the cruiser. You know what'll happen if I throw it, and I'll throw it if Rigo shoots.
Mr. Buckler, you're bluffing. That metal tube was sealed and could not be opened.
You're crazy. I opened it. Poured a little out of it.
Rigo, I think Mr. Buckler has served us long enough. He wants to go far away. I think we should help him.
No. I've done everything you wanted. You can't kill me. You'll be caught.
Mr. Buckler, this is a sanitarium. Many persons have died here. It is quite useful. The police think nothing of one death, more or less.
Are you sure there's no nitro in that bottle, Doctor?
Quite sure. I think... Now, Mr. Rigo.
No, don't! Shadow. The shadow warned me. I should have listened. Listen to the shadow.
Very good, Mr. Rigo. This American man of mystery, the Shadow, he interests me. You told me something over the telephone.
Yes, he got to Butler last night. Makes himself invisible. As I told you over the phone, I think we'd better get out of the country for a while.
Because of this, Shadow? He's just a man using hypnotic forces that affect men's minds.
Maybe, but once he gets on your trail, there's no shaking him off.
But I know something about such forces.
He can appear in a room without being seen. How does he do it?
Some call it the powers of angels or devils. But it's the art of mesmerism. Hypnotic suggestion is very old. And certain men of modern science have developed it amazingly.
Well, no matter how he does it, I don't want to meet this Shadow.
In that case, Mr. Rigo, will you be so kind as to remove that body? I dislike the presence of the dead.
All right, I'll take care of it. I'll be in the cellar if you need me.
I shall not need you.
Say, what's funny, Doc? What are you grinning about?
I am looking forward to a conversation I'm going to have.
Somebody coming here?
Not exactly. Don't concern yourself, Mr. Rigo. This is something beyond your comprehension.
Okay. I'll be on tap if you need me.
What are you waiting for, Shadow? Why don't you speak?
How long have you known I was in this room, Doctor?
For quite some minutes, Shadow. While I'm not a master of your art of invisibility, my mind is sensitive to such a forceful concentration as you exert to cloak your presence.
I see. Since you sent Rigo away, it is evident you are not afraid of me.
Fear is a luxury I do not allow myself, Shadow.
Your career of sabotage is over, Dr. Arnheim.
I think not. I have never met a man who did not have a price, Shadow.
I have only one price for your kind, Doctor. Prison.
You could be very valuable to me, Shadow.
Don't reach into that drawer, Doctor. A gun is of no use.
A gun? That is a crude way of settling a difference of opinion. But, money, I can pay well.
Money won't help you.
Then you leave me no alternative. You see this little wheel set into this wall?
Yes?
I turn it, and...
Gas.
Yes, Shadow, gas. The room is airtight. Has served me well on other occasions, Shadow. You can't get out. The door is locked on the outside.
What good will it do you to kill me if you also die?
I'm not going to kill you or myself with this gas.
What then?
Just enough gas will be liberated to numb your powers of concentration. Enough to destroy your ability to remain invisible. You can't resist it, Shadow. And just the moment you will weaken, become visible, and the moment I see you, the moment I catch the faintest glimpse of a shadowy form, I'll shoot. The air's becoming quite heavy, Shadow.
Yes, but... Listen, Dr. Arnheim. The police are closing in, Doctor.
So, you don't trust your own powers. You had to have the police to help you.
In a few minutes, the place will be surrounded.
That is all the time I need. You will become visible. I shall kill you. And then...
And then?
I take the police a little while to break into this room. When they do, they will find a dead Shadow. But I shall not be here. This door behind me leads to a passageway which leads to a bay. A speedboat awaits me there.
I know about the speedboat, Dr. Arnheim.
You see? The gas is doing its work. You're weakening. Your power of invisibility is losing its... What is it, Rigo?
Doctor, quick, the police. The passageway. The speedboat is ready. We can make it. Hey, what are you doing with that gas? What's the idea?
Wait, Rigo. The Shadow. He's here in this room. In just a moment, he will become visible.
But you haven't time to wait. The police are already in the house.
Don't try to escape in that speedboat. I have turned it into a death trap, Dr. Arnheim.
Come, quick or it'll be too late.
Wait, Dr. Arnheim. Death is waiting for you in that speedboat. A violent death of your own making.
You can't bluff me.
Don't listen to him, Doctor. Hurry.
All right. But remember, Shadow, we shall meet again.
I'm afraid not, my friend. But first, let me turn off this gas.
Search the place. Round everybody you find.
Wilson, Harvey, Davidson, you men take me upstairs. Rest of you, follow me. Try that room, Sergeant.
Okay. Captain, this room's full of gas.
Sergeant, that iron door there. Try it.
Looks like they skipped.
What was that?
Sounded like an explosion down near the water.
Yes, it was an explosion, gentlemen. And there will be no more wrecking of warships. It was the tube of nitroglycerin intended for the new battle cruiser by Dr. Arnheim. And placed in the gears of the good doctor's own speedboat. With the compliments of the Shadow.
Ladies and gentlemen, before the Shadow leaves you, here's John Barclay, Blue Coal's heating expert. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Barclay.
Thank you, Ken Roberts. Good evening, friends. I'll venture to say plenty of you homeowners listening in have heating problems that you'd like to have straightened out right away. If that's the case, here's what you do. Phone your nearest Blue Coal dealer and ask him to send one of my John Barclay servicemen to your home. Thousands of people are enjoying new heating benefits by following the free advice of John Barclay servicemen. For example, here's what a man in Newark, New Jersey writes about getting better, more efficient results from the Blue Coal heating service. I quote, "Since doing just as we were advised by your young man, we're getting better, steadier heat than we've ever had before. At any time, I'm happy to recommend Blue Coal and your heating service. Friends, why don't you take advantage of this wonderful heating service? Remember, it's yours absolutely free. It is part of the service that goes with Blue Coal. Just phone your nearest Blue Coal dealer. He'll be glad to send a John Barclay serviceman to inspect your heating plant. And be sure to ask that serviceman about the Blue Coal heat regulator. That inexpensive, up-to-the-minute thermostat will give you more uniform, more economical heat than you can get with the most costly oil burner. I thank you."
Thank you, Mr. Barclay. And friends, profit by Mr. Barclay's advice. Have a John Barclay serviceman stop at your home. Phone your nearest Blue Coal dealer tomorrow. You have just heard a dramatized version of one of the many copyrighted stories which appear in the Shadow magazine. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The Shadow knows.
Next week, same time, same station, Blue Coal, America's finest anthracite, will again present another thrilling adventure of the Shadow. Be sure to listen, and be sure to burn Blue Coal, the solid fuel for solid comfort.